I like how Rivian is like, this is more than just a kiss. We're learning more about each other, but it's like literally you're just having a gross kiss with a sweaty man in a storage room, and you've only known this man for like 15 minutes. Like literally, he said a few hours, but like the amount of time we have been in contact with him like has only been like 15 minutes. Like, this is disgusting, Rivian. You might be a slut. Hi guys, I just want to take a second to thank all my patrons here who have donated to me. No matter how much they've donated to me, it really means a lot to me. And if you guys want, you can check out my Patreon and help support me continue to make yaoi videos. Thanks, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Chess of Blades. In the last episode, we figured out Sabre wasn't really Scottish. Some people corrected me. He's not Irish, he's Scottish, but he's not even Scottish. I mean, maybe he is, but he doesn't have the Scottish accent. It was all a lie. So let's figure out why the fuck he felt the need to lie about that. So that's why he brought me here. Now that I think about it, his attitude definitely changed when I brought it up back in the arena.
What about it? Did you want to offer your assistance? I could always use more muscle on my side, especially since a cowardly bastard tried to kill me earlier.
So, was the cowardly bastard Kiran? I'm not sure. Sabre stares at me wide-eyed for a moment, then averts his gaze, frowning darkly at the ground. He appears to sink deep in thought, idly curling and uncurling his fingers into his palm, causing the fabric of his bandages to creak softly each time.
The disciples of Ignatius.
The group Linnaeus just mentioned. How on earth does Sabre know about them? Well, aren't they terrorists? Wouldn't most people know about them? Or maybe they're a secret group, so no one knows about them. I don't know. I don't remember.
They've infiltrated this celebration with several agents. It was probably one of them who made an attempt on your life for getting in the way.
He sounds so grimly confident that it hardly seems like mere conjecture.
How can you possibly know that? Are you part of an underground spy network organized by the king or something?
Wow, you just made a big leap there. My shocked response elicits a chuckle from Sabre, but it sounds bitter rather than mirthful.
I think the king's forgotten I even exist when he's not pitting me in a brawl against some other beastly man. So no, to answer your question.
The scorn in his voice is apparent, but there's also an odd note of something like sadness, almost. But he quickly clears his throat, stiffening his posture a little.
It's better for me to spare you the details. What I wanted to tell you, however, was that you should halt your investigation.
You're trying to get me off the case too, just like Linnaeus. No way, buckaroo. Sabre watches me keenly, his normally exaggerated expression much more subdued, but no less intense.
No good will come of it. Not with the disciples involved. You'll just end up getting hurt. Better to let the king's men take care of it.
Like hell I'll stop now. If my own sister was the one who was captured, I wouldn't be standing by twiddling my thumbs and hoping a bunch of clueless men in uniforms find her before she's turned into a bloody paste.
My voice grows sharp with anger, and Sabre looks taken aback.
If it was some useless ponce of a nobleman who got captured, then fine, let the king's men handle it. But it's an innocent little girl who shouldn't be involved in all this madness of politics and plotting in the first place. It should be everyone's duty to help her.
I bite my lip, surprised at the vehemency of my own emotions. But it's true. People who play with fire and dabble in the dark underbelly of society deserve what they get. Stooping so low as to involve a child, though, there's no excuse for that.
That's an admirable attitude. I doubt you could persuade the disciples with that argument, however. They'll kill you and her without a second thought, no matter how noble your intentions are, or how innocent she is.
Sabre gazes at me with a complicated expression, the look in his eyes unreadable.
Then I'll just have to look out for myself. I'm afraid of dying like any sane man would be, yet I am not such a pathetically spineless cur as to let that keep me from searching for her. I know I'm no hero. I'm just an awkward, judgmental, average man with rich parents. But I was taught that someone has to be there for those who can't protect themselves. And if I have to risk my life to step into that role, then so be it.
Oh wow, Rivian's such a manly man in this route. I close my eyes, feeling a little embarrassed as soon as the words leave my mouth. From Sabre's perspective, I probably sound like a self-righteous noble trying to boost my own ego by playing the knight in shining armor. Well, maybe he's right. Am I trying to live some sort of heroic fantasy by doing all of this?
Crazy peacock.
Oh wow, he really said that very softly and affectionately. Oh dear, I wonder what that means. A soft, bemused mutter comes from beside me. And then... Ugh. Did you guys hear that noise? That noise of like someone's tongue in their mouth? Something suddenly presses up against my mouth hard. Oh my god, guys. Look at it. We're kissing with the not Scottishman. Oh my god, he just forced this kiss on us, just the way we like it. Oh my god, this is so weird. Like, this is so weird from Rivian's perspective. Like, what is, like, what, like, how does he feel about this? Like, how could he possibly enjoy this? This sweaty man that he doesn't know just suddenly kisses him. My eyes shoot open, and I realize Sabre is pulling me into a spontaneous kiss, curling an arm around my waist to keep me from drawing away. Although my first instinct is to recoil, the taste of his lips completely throws me for a loop. Does he think they taste good? What is he saying? A mingled blend of blood, sweat, and something sweetly spicy like cinnamon. He keeps me passionately locked against him, and I know there's little point in trying to break away from the strength of even one of his powerful arms. I guess I'll just give up and let him kiss me then. No use in struggling or saying no. The sensation of his tongue tracing across my mouth and his teeth tugging at my lower lip causes an unusual spark to run through me, pulling in my stomach and drifting down to my hips. I guess I'm really into this kiss too now. I guess I'm just throwing myself into it too. I mean, if this is happening, I might as well enjoy it, right? It only makes sense. We've known each other for barely a few hours, but it feels like he's pouring out the contents of his soul into one kiss. He fiercely presses his tongue past my lips to fill my mouth with his taste in visceral fashion. It's so coarse that it barely seems to be a kiss any longer, but rather some sort of brutally honest way of exploring each other, bypassing all of the traditional lead-up. I press a hand against his broad shoulder, feeling how tense his muscular form is. I like how Rivian is like, this is more than just a kiss. We're learning more about each other, but it's like literally you're just having a gross kiss with a sweaty man in a storage room, and you've only known this man for like 15 minutes. Like, literally, he said a few hours, but like the amount of time we've been in contact with him, like, has only been like 15 minutes. Like, this is disgusting, Rivian. You might be a slut. Gods, I'm such a girl for thinking like this, but he is really incredibly well built. My jealousy is getting overwhelmed by my admiration. Oh, that's not That's not creepy at all. I don't feel uncomfortable at all when you talk like that. He whispers against my lips, his own curling into a gentle smirk. I want to protest against the humiliating moniker of delicate, but his tongue swirls back into my mouth before I get a chance, and he pulls lightly at my hair. The way he said it too makes me feel a little less sour. Not like it was a bad thing, but rather something wondrous, as if he's admiring me in the same way I'm inwardly fawning over him. I end up pressing back against his own cracked, slightly bloodied lips, drawn in by their roughness. This is probably not the way someone should react to an unwarranted kiss, but after all the bizarre things that have happened over the past few days, I feel like I've been desensitized to such occurrences. And something about Sabre's directness is strangely invigorating. It's so raw and intense that I have this sense I'm being played with by a massive tiger staring into its jaws. He eventually pulls back and drags his tongue across his lips for a long moment. I'm quite sure that my cheeks are completely flushed because Sabre's eyes roam over my face with a look of satisfaction. It seems like he's about to press in again for another kiss, but instead, he abruptly pushes himself up to his feet.
A nighttime tryst in the garden would be a nice way to continue this, don't you think?
Musing to himself slyly, Sabre flashes me a wink. Then, just like that, he adjusts his coat and strides out into the corridor, leaving me alone in stunned silence.
What just happened?
After recovering my wits somewhat, I shake my head to clear it of the dreamy haze fogging my senses. In a span of just a little while, I learned that Sabre's accent is fake, the most shocking discovery at all. He's somehow aware of the disciples of Ignatius, not that big of a deal, and he has a penchant for kissing hapless noblemen on the spot, also very important. It's going to be one of those days, is it? Sighing heavily, I rise from the crate and make my way back up to the second floor. When I enter the guest room halls, the thought of Arden resurfaces in my mind. This time, I only think of him as a friend, no longer as the man I used to love. Not that now that I have a bigger piece of man meat that's even more masculine and muscular. And how much he'd be bristling if he saw what happened back there. I wonder if I can get them to fight each other. That would really get me off, to see them fighting over me. For a moment, my heart is weighed with a sad feeling, a premonition almost. I don't think things will ever go back to how they once were. We're both different people now, Arden and I. Very different. A part of me will always treasure him, but there's no way I'll ever let him know that. It would be too painful, I think, for both of us. Wow. Wait, is what he just said what I think he just said? Okay, I see. When I return to my room, I gaze out the window into the dimming sky where the rain has finally let up. I suppose I'll go down for dinner tonight, and then... a nighttime tryst in the garden. Oh my god, I'm actually thinking about going. Is what Sabre said, wasn't it? What an absurd invitation. Does he think we're in some sort of cheesy romance novel written for swooning female audience or something? More realistically, it could be some kind of trap. I know nothing about Sabre or his motives. As if he hides his true nature on a regular basis, then what else might he possibly be hiding? But at the same time, He seemed to know something with the disciples, so it's possible he may have some valuable information. If I could get him to trust me, then maybe he'd divulge whatever it is he's hiding, and I could get to the bottom of this. What was that kissing business all about, though? Some kind of bizarre joke? After all, I sort of got the impression that he and Kiran were... well, did we? Did we get that impression? I didn't get that impression, but okay. You know, it's probably better not to dwell on this too much. I'll just ask him about it later, since jumping to conclusions rarely ends well. The only place I want to jump right now is off a cliff, so I don't have to worry about this tangled mess any longer. I flop down on the bed and bury my face against the pillow. Dealing with assassination attempts, chases, startling revelations, and spontaneous kisses really takes a lot out of a man. I'll just catch a little nap before dinner, and then... sleeping on the job again. Nah. Why are people always banging on my door? It's probably just Arden telling me he's had an uneventful search.
Yes, I'm coming already. Don't dent the wood.
Letting out a hefty groan, I ooze off the bed, rubbing my hazy eyes as I head over to the door.
You know, I really don't appreciate...
What? Little bitch! Little bitch, how did you manage yourself free? What happened? Am I still asleep? Or is standing before me really...
Hazel, you're safe! But how? Emily, when did she come back?
The maid is clutching her daughter tightly to her side, a complex blend of huge relief and lingering concern lining her features. Hazel beams at me brightly like her normal self, but she also looks a little shaken up. My head is overflowing with questions.
Sir Rivian, you have my endless gratitude for helping return Hazel. I don't know what you did, but...
Emily shakes her head in disbelief. Her eyes are a bit red and puffy, and I can tell she's been crying a great deal.
She returned to me less than an hour ago. My sweet child, completely unharmed. I couldn't believe my eyes.
As if to make sure her daughter's still real, Emily leans down to tightly squeeze Hazel in her arms for a moment, nuzzling against the girl's hair with her eyes closed.
Mum, you're messing up my ribbons.
Hazel complains half-heartedly, but she seems very happy to be back with her mother, and no wonder.
Well, I'm glad she's back safely. It wasn't due to anything I did, though. I've just been asking around for information, that's all.
You... really? But Hazel said...
Oh well, you know that Hazel, always coming up with wild stories, the lying little brat. Looking confused, Emily glances down from me to Hazel with a tilt of her head to one side.
It's true. That's what they said to me. The one who was keeping me trapped.
The one who was keeping her trapped? Could it be that I swayed the heart of her captor? Interesting. The little girl lowers her gaze, biting her lip.
I was told not to say a word about who kidnapped me, or else very bad things would happen. But they did say, thanks to Rivian for freeing you.
What is wrong with you, little girl? Just tell us who kidnapped you. You're safe now. Are you an idiot? Have you told the king that you're just not telling us who kidnapped you because you're afraid of an idle threat? You idiot, tell us right now. What on earth? Is this some kind of strange roundabout threat? More importantly, how do they know my name or who I am? Is Fran's prophetic statement about my father's enemies coming to get me really true?
She refuses to say anything about her kidnapper, so it's hard for me to feel at ease, but... Sir, please be careful.
What if you accidentally got Sabre's route, like, before any other route? Like, that would be really weird. Like, this would just be really weird.
Whoever that person is, they're still out there. I don't wish for you to be their next victim.
She trails off, still clutching Hazel tightly, but gazing at me with a look of concern.
That makes two of us. What a strange turn things have taken, eh?
Attempting to play off my nervousness, I chuckle awkwardly and scratch at my cheek.
Don't talk to any strangers, Sir Rivian. Just stay in your room and I can guard your door.
Don't tell me what to do, little bitch, and I doubt you can guard at anything. You couldn't even guard yourself, so I don't want to hear anything out of that little mouth of yours.
That's very kind of you, Hazel, but I think I'll be alright.
I like how, in my head, Emily's mom is just standing there silently as I verbally bitch out her daughter. I reach out to tousle Hazel's fluffy hair. She's even less of a guard dog than Arden, more like a guard chihuahua.
Well, stay safe, sir. Once the celebration is over, hopefully Hazel can tell the guards who was behind all this, and we can all breathe easily again when they're behind bars.
Just give her a few minutes with the Grand Inquisitor, and maybe he'll beat the secret out of her. Emily's words make Hazel lower her head slightly for a moment. For some reason, she seems conflicted.
Thank you. With luck, the celebration will wind down without any more unnecessary excitement.
I grimace dryly, feeling dubious about my own optimistic statement. After saying my goodbyes to Hazel, I wind my way through the corridors towards the main hall, my unhappily empty stomach forcing me straight to the dining room. I ponder the strange events of today over a quiet dinner, trying to figure out the meaning behind everything while chewing on a piece of well-cooked asparagus. Ugh, it's so stringy. How do people eat vegetables? What was yesterday when we enjoyed those vegetables on Linnaeus's recommendation our first time eating vegetables? Or like, what is Rivian saying? I don't understand. I must muse over this situation in between absent-minded bites, but end up only sinking further into confusion. A part of me almost wishes Arden was here for me to bounce ideas off of, but, well, it's probably safer for him not to be involved. Finally, with a full belly but unsatisfied appetite for answers, I leave the dining room and contemplate what to do next. Well, I can't just ignore Sabre's invitation from earlier, can I? Missing out on some public exhibition in the garden? I mean, how could I pass up on that? Even if it's not the safest plan to go wandering about at this hour, I'll just have to hope for the best. When I step outside, I'm greeted by the refreshing night air. The rain from earlier must have cooled everything off, leaving a pleasant crispness in the breeze. I stroll through the hedge maze, looking around for a head of spiky orange hair. Hopefully tonight meant around this time, and not in the wee small hours of the morning. As romantic as that would be, I can't think of a better recipe for getting cleanly murdered without any bystanders. I mean, I think right now is a pretty good moment for getting murdered as well. I mean, I'm alone in the garden in the dark. It really doesn't matter if it's in the wee hours of the morning or right now. Ah, there he is. I spot Sabre sitting on a small bench that amazingly doesn't crack and crumble beneath his massive muscles. It seems like he's deep in thought, brooding silently while slouching forward, his hands clasped between his legs. As soon as he notices my presence, however, he rises his feet and takes a step towards me.
Ah, I was wondering if you decided to stand me up. But here you are.
Yes, against my better judgment. Be grateful my heart is magnanimous enough to meet with you again after you walked out on me so rudely.
Using big words there, Rivian. As I let out a huff, Sabre's lips spread into a grin, his eyes alight with mischief.
Oh, I apologize. It just seemed like the kind of thing that would send your heart fluttering. If I didn't play hard to get, I doubt I could have kept your interest very long.
Why, I have half idea to take off my glove and slap you with it.
Do you really take me for someone that fickle? I have a longer attention span than a 5-year-old's, you know.
Sabre lets out a chuckle at my offended remark. Then he offers one of his large tanned arms to me, waiting patiently. I hesitate for a moment, but knowing I've already come this far, it doesn't take me long for me to accept such an invitation. Oh no, we are a bitch boy slut. All for Sabre's thick, muscular, Scottish, not Skyrish dick. Oh god. I think I'm gonna end the episode here for today, guys. Sorry if it's a little short, but I'll see you guys in the next episode, and thanks for watching. Bye.